Hello, I want this list to become your go-to video during your quarterly or yearly decluttering. I believe it will help to cover the majority of stuff in our homes. So hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, and keep watching. First thing you need to declutter is your coats. If you live in California and have 5 warm coats, you better think a little bit if you do really need them all. Uncomfortable shoes. There's nothing worse than wearing something on your feet that is super uncomfortable. Bags and backpacks. Sometimes you just accumulate them but don't use enough. I suggest you thinking of decluttering these ones. Broken glasses. I wanted to actually fix my broken glasses, but let's be honest, sometimes we just don't get to fix something and we just need to declutter it. Beanies, mittens, and scarves. These can be really extra if you have more than 2 or 3 of them. Ooh, a lot of packaging, a lot of cardboard boxes. I'm not sure you will use all of them, especially if they're not the usual cubic size. So go ahead and declutter those if you need. Plastic bags. If you're like me, you probably use disposable plastic bags twice and more times, and sometimes they get torn. And I really hate this moment when I find out that my plastic bag is torn and I really need to put my potatoes in something right now. So if you want to reduce these situations, you need to declutter your plastic bags regularly. Sprays or any other materials to take care of your shoes and your coats. Because sometimes they are expired even if we don't notice it, so you probably check it. Repair tools. There are a lot of this, and sometimes they can be super useless, or they can be double of something that you might not want to keep and to store, so you maybe want to declutter those as well. Extra materials after your last renovation. Read books. You know that statistically we will not read 99% of the books that we already read. I don't know if this statistic is true, but in my opinion it is. And unread books. If there are some books that you haven't read for a while and you bought them some time ago, maybe they're not your topic right now. You maybe want to declutter those until you want to read them and then buy them secondhand. Photos. I personally don't keep physical photos at my home, so I have nothing to show you. But if you keep physical photos and you don't regularly revise them, or you have multiples of the same photo, maybe you want to declutter those as well. Some statues and knickknacks that have actually no purpose at all, they are also candidates for decluttering. Stationery. Actually, this basket is absolutely enough for me, but if I had more, I would probably declutter it. Storage! Ooh. If you have too much storage, you will have too much things to store. In my opinion, there is nothing more calm than empty surfaces. So emptying your surfaces is a good way to start your decluttering and a good way to minimize your space. It's hot in here. Candles. Sometimes you just don't like candles or their smell or their style, and in this case you need to declutter those. Dying or ugly plants, or the ones that you don't like, or the ones about which you constantly forget, don't have to be in your space. You better get rid of these dead bodies or make up an alibi at least. Uncomfortable blankets. This one is really comfortable, but yours is not, and you know that. Also, it's ugly color. The next thing is home decor. Whatever it is, you'll probably feel more comfortable and more calmer in a place with minimal decor. Furniture that doesn't fit your interior. If you can afford new furniture that you've been dreaming about, then you probably go ahead and do this. I give you my permission. Things on your coffee table. I know these can be journals, keys, some food, flowers, vases, statues, a lot of things. Whatever it is on your coffee table, it will be a lot comfortable not to have anything there, or to have just a few things that are very easily wiped down whenever needed. Remotes. Sometimes we have just too many of those. And if you do, then go ahead and declutter those. Talking about very old things, how about journals, newspapers, discs, some DVD, all this that comes from 90s. If you don't use this at all, then you probably want to declutter those if you haven't yet. There are people out there who keep those things, so if you're the one of them, then think of that. Planners and bullet journals that are not relevant anymore. By the way, if you want me to film any bullet journal setup like 2022 or show what I do here, let me know in the comments. Phones, tablets, and all the things that distract you all the time. If you have them extra, you're probably extra. Oh, you're here. Sometimes you can be overwhelmed with wires and all that stuff that you might want to declutter as well. Phone chargers. If you have the ones that you don't use, try to sell them. Also, it's worth to think of decluttering some of the big things in your home, like cameras or TVs or just big gadgets. It's a good way to earn some money if you sell those, and it's a good way to minimize your digital time in screens if you just declutter one of your TVs at your home, if you have more than one, of course. Set of dishes. I believe that you don't need more than one really beautiful, really good set of dishes, and you can use them during some celebrations or just in your day-to-day life because it's good to eat from nice things. All things in your freezer. All things in your fridge. There are things that expired here and there are things that you don't like here. So the next thing is the food that you don't like. Sometimes we just experiment with food and sometimes these experiments are not successful. And my cat is eating right now. Why are you eating right now? Kitchen towels. You see there are many stains here, but not as many as I need to in order to declutter things. But if you have kitchen towels that have a lot of stains in them, then you probably want to declutter them. 36 is sponges or anything that you wash your dishes with or wipe surfaces with. This can be old and stinky sometimes, and we sometimes miss this moment when it's time to declutter those. But if you do have those that you don't need, then declutter them. Bottles. If you keep bottles like me, for some reason, maybe to recycle them, then maybe it's time to collect the ones that you have kept for a while and recycle them. Also, I use this to water my plants, so it's a good way to reuse your bottles. Cups. Sometimes you have more cups than members of your family, and I truly believe that you need only the amount of cups which equals the amount of members of the family to be happy. Containers, plastic containers or glass containers that you don't get enough use of. As you can see, I use mine for cat food. Kitchenware. All the things in your kitchenware that you don't use are worth decluttering. Number 41. Some kitchen devices that you don't get enough use of, like toasters, blenders, mixers, for any type of thing you do. You don't need all of that if you don't get enough use of those. Empty jars. I don't know if you collect these. I do collect these to recycle them or to give them away. If you do this as well, then it's time to declutter. Vases. If you're a person that needs vases, so it means that you have flowers at your home from time to time, you don't need more than 3 vases. Big, medium, and small. Declutter the rest. Things for baking, some baking sheets and other stuff that I don't know the names of. Number 45, spoons and forks. As well, I just don't think you need more than the amount of members of your family. You do you, but maybe you sometimes have more of them than you need. Spices. Sometimes they are expired, sometimes you just don't like them, and if this happened to you, then it's time to declutter your spices. Number 47, aprons. I've never ever had an apron in my life and I feel absolutely fine. So if you don't use those enough, maybe you want to sell them or give them away to the ones who cook a lot. Number 48, tablecloth. I don't have any tablecloths as well because I just don't have guests too much in my life. But if you do, just keep a few tablecloths that you really enjoy and toss the rest. Sometimes you keep the empty bottles of your detergents and other washing materials. If you do, then it's time to go ahead and declutter those. Home clothes that you don't feel like a goddess in. Number 51, extra bed sheets. Number 52, extra pillows. Number 53, towels that smell like an armpit of a rhinoceros. Number 54, socks that don't have the pair. The next one is sports clothes. Sometimes you just don't do enough sports to have sports clothes. Different pajamas. If you haven't tried sleeping naked, maybe that's your thing. Many samples of the same type of clothes. These are the ones that you don't need in your closet. This makes only harder to choose what you're gonna wear today. Clothes that are out of style. We sometimes do not admit that, but for some of us it's important to be somewhat trendy. And for me it is, so sometimes I declutter things that are out of style right now. You can blame me, but this is just what I do to make myself feel good and beautiful. Number 59, clothes that are worn out. Well, you need to declutter those unless you want to be in style. You got me? You got the joke? Underwear. Of course, you don't need any uncomfortable underwear. Clothes that aren't fit your size are the ones that are the first to declutter. Office clothes. Sometimes, like it happened to a lot of us, that we don't go to the office and we will not probably return there. So it's time to declutter your office clothes if you haven't yet. One more thing about clothes. If it doesn't fit you, if it doesn't fit your body and look good on you, it's also a good thing to declutter these clothes. After you decluttered all of that, you might have a lot of extra hangers in your closet. And if you do, go ahead and declutter those. Extra things for traveling. If you don't travel enough, maybe you don't need some of your traveling things. Small boxes for your storage. Sometimes you have these small boxes from presents or something like that, and you sometimes just don't need those. Number 67, jewelry. Go through your jewelry and decide what you're not gonna wear anymore. Number 68, sentimental stuff from past. Number 69, ribbons and boxes for packing your presents. Number 70, old medicine, unless you wanna die from taking a cough syrup. Number 71, makeup. It's time to finally be fine with our pimples. Hope you agree with me. The next one is perfumes. Sometimes we have just a dozen of bottles and we use just 2 of the perfumes. It's time to declutter the rest. Number 73, you might want to declutter your skincare. 74, nail polishes that you don't use. 75, small bottles for traveling that you bought by an impulse when we all were doing that. Number 76, uncomfortable combs and brushes, or the ones that are broken. 77, stretched out scrunchies or pins that don't work anymore. Everything for your hair that you just don't use enough. 78, pet toys. 79, spa products that you don't get enough use of. Number 80, study materials. All that you use for your studies if you're in college or university or just took a course, but that you don't really need. Number 81, cards that you wanted to give to someone or that you were gifted. You probably don't reread those, right? 82, some old calendars that are physical and that clutter your space. Number 83, photo frames. 84, some paper documents and all that stuff that can be digital. If it can be digital, it doesn't have to be physical. Number 85, medical documents. But you want to make photos of those before you declutter them. Also, all the other instructions and receipts are good things to declutter and to free space. Number 87, extra chairs. Number 88, big game boards, board games that you don't use enough. Number 89, email and other inbox. Sometimes it can be really overwhelming to see a lot of messages in our inbox. Number 90, desktop on our phones and computers. It will be definitely a good idea if you look at your computer or phone and see just a clear, minimal desktop there. Number 91, photo galleries in your phone, in your computer. Wherever you have like a lot of photos, go through them and finally declutter the ones that you don't like or the one that duplicate the previous ones. Number 92, coins. Put them in a visible spot to take with you when you go out for a coffee. Number 93, keys and key rings. You don't get to enjoy knickknacks on your keys because you just use it mindlessly and don't look at those. Number 94, declutter your wallet. There can be many useless things there. Number 95, some business cards. Number 96, all the rest of the cards, discount cards and all that. If you have kids, you probably know how many toys you might have that this kid doesn't use. So if this is your situation, go ahead and declutter your toys or your kids' toys, whatever you do. If you play those toys, I just don't judge you. Number 98, bags. The ones that you use, to clip your clothes so that it dries out. Number 99, seasonal decor. It can be a huge thing that clutter your space. 100! Finally, the 100th thing is your sports equipment. Some dumbbells and other stuff that you might sometimes not get enough use of. So go ahead and declutter those. Yeah, we did it! We did it! If you think that this video could be useful for some of your friends or family members, please share it. And don't forget to hit the like button, leave a comment down below if this was useful or not. And I would also like to try to recommend you to watch this video, which is about my grocery shopping in Ukraine. This is actually a huge request from you, so I hope you will enjoy this video as well. And so, a lot of packaging, a lot of